Nullity of marriage and divorce. Section 11 to 18. Which of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act was challenged in the case of Lakshmi Amla versus Ram Swami Naikar? Section 11. The Hindu wife was at the time of marriage pregnant by some person other than the husband. The marriage is voidable at the option of the husband. Under Section 11 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the marriage may be declared null and void if the parties are within the degree of prohibited relationship. For declaration of marriage as void, petition may be presented under Section 11 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 by either parties. Concealment by the respondent of pre-marriage pregnancy by some other than the petitioner can make a marriage voidable. The nature of marriage to an important person is voidable. X, a Hindu, is 28 years, marry Y, is 25 years, according to Hindu rites. It turned out that at the time of marriage, Y was pregnant by someone other than X. The marriage of X and Y is voidable. If a girl became pregnant by some person before marriage and subsequently married with some third person, what is the position under Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Marriage is voidable at the option of the groom. Concealment of pre-marriage pregnancy by respondent can make marriage voidable. Incapacity to consummate the marriage within the meaning of Section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, either physical or mental. A marriage solemnized between two Hindus would not be regarded as voidable under Section 12 of the Act if the parties are subpoenaed to each other. Supriso Vedi by a woman under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 who was pregnant at the time of the marriage is a ground of annulling the marriage as voidable. Which of the following is not a ground for annulling a marriage under Section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955? B. Which one are grounds? Marriage are not consummated owing to impotency of the respondent. The respondent was pregnant by some person other than the petitioner at the time of marriage. Consent of the petitioner was obtained by fraud as to the material fact concerning the respondent. Section 12(1)(a) of the Hindu Marriage Act is related to impotency. Supriso Vedi by a woman who was pregnant at the time of marriage is a ground of annulling the marriage as voidable. A decree of nullity of marriage in case of voidable marriage annuls the marriage from the date of the marriage. Which one of the following is not a ground for annulment of marriage under Section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Incapacity of the respondent to bear a child. The marriage of a 15-year-old girl with 60-year-old man solemnized with her consent, but the consent of her parent under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is voidable at the option of girl. Which of the following is not a ground for annulment of marriage under section 12 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955b? Which one are ground under section 12? Impotency, consent to marriage obtained by force and fraud, insanity at the time of marriage. Which of the following ground is available only to the wife of seeking divorce under Hindu Marriage Act? Option of puberty. A and B petitioned for divorce by mutual consent under section 13b of the Hindu Marriage Act. A withdrew her consent after 6 months. Choose the correct legal position of the following. Court cannot grant divorce under section 13b. Adultery by Hindu husband is ground of divorce and judicial separation of both. Adultery is a ground under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 for judicial separation and divorce both. In a petition for divorce on ground of adultery, plead under section 13(1)(I) of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the wife against husband, the person with whom the adultery was committed, was husband is proper party. Recently, the Supreme Court in Anil Kumar Jain versus Maya Jain has held that the requirement of 6-month waiting period in case of divorce by mutual consent in Hindu law can be relaxed by Supreme Court only. Hindu Marriage Act 1955 contains the provision regarding divorce in section 13. Which one of the following case decided by Supreme Court is related to mental cruelty? Dastani versus Dastani. Which one of the following has not yet been statutorily recognized as a theory of divorce under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Will theory. Which one of the following is not a ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Epilepsy. Which one is ground for divorce? Apostasy, dharmtyag, insanity, and venereal disease. Which one of the following provision of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 relates with the ground of divorce exclusive to the wife? Section 13(2). The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 provision of divorce by mutual consent was added by Amendment of 1976. For desertion to qualify as a ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act, intention to desert is a necessary condition. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 required a minimum period of -year for desertion for filing a petition for divorce immediately preceding the presentation of the petition. 2 years. The special ground of divorce that available to wife only is given under section 13(2) of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. The statement, while there is no rose which has no thorn, but if what you hold is all thorn, no rose, better to throw it away, related to irrevocable breakdown of marriage theory of divorce. Under which section Hindu Marriage Act 1955 husband and wife are allowed to divorce by mutual consent? Section 13B. Decree of divorce has been passed between A and B. A celebrated second marriage with C. Within 6 months of the decree, the marriage is valid. Which one of the following is not foreground seeking divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Irrevocable breakdown of marriage. Venereal disease to be a ground for divorce under section 13(1)(b) of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is must be communicable form. Under Hindu law, the ground for divorce is insanity, cruelty, adultery. In which section of Hindu Marriage Act ground for divorce provided? Section 13. Divorce by mutual consent has been provided in Section 13B. One of the following is not a ground for divorce under Section 13 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Irrevocable breakdown of marriage. Which one of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act related to divorce? Section 13. Which section of the Hindu Marriage Act provide for divorce by mutual consent? Section 13B. In which, in case of desertion, the wife has to prove the following fact: the husband has abandoned her, that he has done so without any reasonable cause against her wish or without her consent, that he has willfully neglected her. Under which one of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, husband and wife may file a petition for divorce by mutual consent? Section 13B. Consent theory of divorce was introduced in Hindu Marriage Act 1955 in the year 1976. Under which one of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 divorce by mutual consent has been provided? Section 13B. Which of the following is not a ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Epilepsy. The petition for divorce by mutual consent may be presented according to Hindu Marriage Act 1955 if spouses have been living separately for a period of 1 year. A petition for divorce with mutual consent under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 can be filed after 1 year. Consent theory of divorce was introduced in Hindu Marriage Act 1955 in the year 1976. Under which section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 husband and wife may file a petition of divorce by mutual consent? Section 13B. Divorce by mutual consent has been provided in Section 13B of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Desertion to be the ground of divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 should be the statutory period of 2 years. In proceeding for dissolution of the marriage by mutual consent under Section 13B of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, parties have to move court once again after 6 months, but before 18 months from the date of presentation of petition. Which one of the following is not a ground for divorce? Irrevocable breakdown of marriage. Dastane versus Dastane is a leading decision of Supreme Court on the point of cruelty. Which one of the following is not a valid ground for divorce as per Section 13 of the Act? The other party has been heard of being alive for a period of 5 years by those persons who would have naturally heard of him had that party been alive. Which one of the following is not a ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955? respondent of Hindu converted into Buddhism. Which one is ground? Respondent suffering from virulent and incurable form of leprosy. Respondent suffering from venereal disease in the communicable form. Respondent convicted of sodomy. A marriage solemnized between two Hindus, not regarded as void under section 11 if either party incapable of giving a valid consent of marriage due to unsoundness of mind. Under section 14 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the marriage may be declared null and void if the parties are within the degree of prohibited relationship. Desertion within the purview of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is total repudiation of obligation of marriage. Right of divorce to wife under section 13(2) of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is available to wife if the offense of rape, sodomy or bestiality is subsequent to the marriage of the petitioner. Which one of the following is incorrect regarding to desertion on the ground for divorce? The statutory period for 1 year must have run out before the petition is presented. Which one of the following is not a ground for divorce provided by Hindu Marriage Act 1955? Imprisonment of respondent for a period of 4 years. Ramesh and Rani file a joint petition praying for the decree of divorce by mutual consent under Hindu Marriage Act 1955. 6 months later, second motion was filed by Ramesh along with Rani refused to join him. Divorce will be not granted to Ramesh. Sodomy is a ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act. Under Hindu law, renunciation from Hindu and renunciation from Hindu and conversion of the husband to any other faith would give rise to cause in favor of wife for filing petition for divorce. A Hindu married woman is involved into same-sex relationship with another woman, and her husband wants the matrimonial remedy. He will succeed in getting a decree of divorce, as it is the ground for divorce under Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Where one of the spouse is guilty of cruelty, the other spouse cannot obtain decree on the ground if the aggrieved spouse forgives the guilty party and condones the cruel act. Under which section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, husband and wife are allowed to divorce by mutual consent. Section 13b. Under Hindu Marriage Act, condonation applies to the matrimonial offense of adultery, cruelty. Under Section 13 of Hindu Marriage Act, number of ground of divorce which common to husband and wife is 11. Which one of the following is correct statement? Divorce by mutual consent was introduced by Hindu Marriage Amendment Act 1976. Dastani versus Dastani is the case on divorce. Bar to entertain a petition for divorce is contained in Section 14 of Hindu Marriage Act. Section 14 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 imposes a ban for filing petition for divorce. As a general rule, the petition for dissolution of Hindu marriage can be presented within 1 year of the marriage. The bar to entertain a petition for divorce operate for the period of 1 year from the date of marriage. Statutory bar: no petition to be presented within 1 year of marriage under Section 14 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is imposed on the petition for divorce. As a rule, a petition for dissolution of marriage under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 cannot be presented before the expiry of 1 year from the date of the marriage. Divorced person can marry again under the provision of Section 15 of the Act if marriage has been dissolved by the decree of divorce in case time period for preferring an appeal against the decree of divorce has expired without preferring the appeal. Child born out of which type of marriage are legitimate according to Section 16 of Hindu Marriage Act: valid, voidable, void marriage. Under Hindu law, a relation to children of void marriage is a court declaration is not necessary to confer the status of legitimacy. Section 16 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 deal with the legitimacy of children of void and voidable marriage. The child born of void and voidable marriage under Hindu law is legitimate. Which one of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 provide that children of void and void marriage would be the legitimate children? Section 16. Children born out of void and voidable marriage under Section 11 and 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 are deemed to be legitimate but can inherit the property of their parents only. Section 16 of Hindu Marriage Act conferred legitimacy of children of both void and voidable marriage. Children of void marriage under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 are legitimate but entitled to inherit the property of their parents only. Which section of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 deal with the punishment of bigamy? Section 17. Which section of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 bigamy is prohibited? Section 17. Bigamous marriage under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is void. Fine prescribed under Section 18 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 for child marriage has been enhanced by the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, 1000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Punishment for violation of condition as to age by provided under Section 5(3) of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 has been provided under which one of the following section of Hindu Marriage Act 1956? Section 18(1). Section 18 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 prescribe the punishment for child marriage, for marriage between subpoena, for marriage between person falling within the degree of prohibited relationship. The relief of restitution of conjugal right is not available under Indian Christian Marriage Act 1872. Assertion: a bigamous marriage is void under Hindu law. Reason: child born out of void marriage is legitimate child of his parent. Both are correct, but not correct explanation. A marry B, the widow of her elder brother. The marriage is void. A Hindu wife is entitled for separate residence of maintenance if she became unchaste, ceased to be Hindu by conversion, if living separately by her own violation.